Good day, everyone. It's Pastor Neil Whitman here at Sovereign Grace Baptist Church in Oromocto, out east. Well, we have seen the kingdom of God to be like this seed that is planted in the soil. We don't know how it grows. God gives it growth. There have been many struggles and trials in the last year, as I'm sure there have been in every single fellowship. It has been a hard year. It's been a year in which, since the lockdown in March, we were able to at least continue on with our teaching ministry, and to a degree, through the gracious mercy of God, we have the technology that we are able to reach into each other's homes and continue to put forth the word of truth, and also even to have conversation. So we're able to carry on with some of our Bible studies even while lockdown was in place. In spite of all the hardships of the year, God has continued to work in diverse and wondrous ways. God has blessed us to see a number of conversions in the last year. God is at work, and the kingdom has not ceased to increase in the midst of whatever hardship that has prevailed upon us. We've also been blessed in the midst of all this to be able, through our multiplicity of teachers, including Elder Dale, myself, and Perry, to reach out and support a number of local pulpits. Regularly, we have been providing preaching support to Chipman, which is a local independent church without a pastor, and to Sheet Harbor down in Nova Scotia, which is one of our fellowship churches that has not had a pastor since the start of COVID. We've also had some tremendous works in the last year that God has wrought. We've been praying for some time for a ministry opportunity to open up to our First Nations community here in Oromocto. And through no effort of our own, we were contacted by a ministry called Arrowhead Ministries, which is a camp missionary outreach ministry that's about an hour from us. And they had been asked by the Band Council of the First Nation here to open up a Bible camp for youth, because some of the youth had gone to the summer camp and their families wanted them to have more of that, so they asked if we could run a program with them on the reserve at the Reserve Community Center. And that started in January of last year, and we ran that for about 3 months before we were forced to close down in COVID. But we have established relationships there in the community, and we've been able to support Arrowhead in online ministries they've been doing and deepen our ties together. And we don't know where God will lead that, but it's been a tremendous blessing to work with them. Perry's been able to continue to support Carey Ministries. Unfortunately, 3 of his trips this year, which were set for teaching in seminaries in Mongolia, in Cuba, and in Madagascar, were canceled due to obviously COVID restrictions, and yet nevertheless they were able to have a course run on early church history in September in the Far East. He is also at work diligently preparing courseware for future programs. So in spite of all the setbacks, God has continued to provide us work to do. And those are only the works that Sovereign Grace does openly. It certainly doesn't speak to all of the ministries of this body, where the members of the church volunteer in various seniors ministries, evangelical outreach ministries, and other forms of charitable works in our community. And we also, even outside of our own membership, have been blessed to enjoy rich and regular fellowship with families who, though they disagree with us on baptism, which keeps them from membership, have been a joy of fellowship, and that's a number of families that we've been able to encourage and build up in regular teaching and in fellowship in the Lord. We've seen a succession of young men come through here who are on training, that have been able to engage in deep mentorship and discipleship before they have gone on to their deployments following basic training. And of course an ongoing parade of soldiers and officers who come and go every 2 years, and that we're able to minister to their families for a time and then send them on, Lord willing, more equipped for God's work. God has blessed us financially. He continues to meet our needs through the generosity of his people, and we continue to have work to do for his name's sake. So It has been an encouraging year, which is just added to the confidence that we ought to have that God will fulfill his purpose in us, that his kingdom will not be shaken, that nothing that goes on in this world is going to be able to stop his people from continuing on the earth in accordance with his will and plan, and that even should this church fail, we know and have perfect confidence that God's kingdom will not fail, and that he will always have a people for himself who call upon his name and glorify him through worship and through sincere faith in Jesus Christ, his Son, who died for us. So that's our annual report for you, and just hope that you were encouraged to hear that God is working here out east. Godspeed.